What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about freelancing as a web developer. In this video I'm going to cover some of the pros and cons of being a freelance web developer, what it takes to get started, how to find work, and then I'll close off with my top 10 tips. So if you're thinking about becoming a freelance web developer, keep watching. Alright, so let's talk about some of the pros. Why should you become a freelance web developer? One of the main reasons is because of the freedom and flexibility you'll have. You can work from home or pretty much anywhere as long as you have your laptop and an internet connection. You'll be in full control of your time, meaning you get to set your own hours. You could choose the projects that you really want to work on, and one of the biggest benefits of all, you don't have a boss. Now that being said, there are some cons that you have to consider as well. The biggest one, there's no guaranteed work for you. You can have long stretches of time where you just have no clients to work with. Something else you have to think about is that you have no benefits. You're going to have to go out there and buy your own health benefit plan, and you're going to have to set aside money for retirement. Another con is that if you're a freelancer who works by yourself, you might have the brains on top, but do you have the brains on tap? Meaning if you get stuck on a project, trying to figure out some type of feature or functionality and how to get it done, but you're just stuck for some reason, is there anybody that you can reach out to? If not, then you're fully depending on the brains on top and you have no brains on tap. That's why it's wise to try to make connections in the web development field, so that way, if you ever get stuck or if you want to learn something new, you have somebody you can reach out to that can help guide you. And while you may be in full control of your time, you have to have good time management skills. Because if you're working from home, you're working in a very distracted environment. As I mentioned in another video, you have to be able to tune out the distractions, turn off the TV, silence your cell phone, turn off the email, not jump on social media unless you're marketing your business, and just focus on getting the work done. Now that segues into my next part of this conversation. What does it take to be a good freelance web developer? Well, obviously you need great time management skills. Now the good thing is you can learn these time management skills and you can better organize yourself in order to ensure you're maximizing your time. You have to be dedicated to learning, always be learning, because in this field, things change on a daily basis. The technologies change, the tools that we use change. What people expect from a website changes. You got to be self-motivated, because if you're a freelancer and you're going that stretch of time without income, that could be detrimental to your motivation. So you have to be able to self-motivate. And that also means that you have to have really good money management skills. Because again, some months you might have no clients, and the following month you might get 2 or 3 big paying clients. And it's only natural to say, I have all this newfound money, let me go buy stuff. But the trick is, you have to be able to save for a rainy day. Another thing you need is good communication skills. This is important within our field, because if you're working with a client, you want to have that open line of communication with them. You want to have clear communication where you fully understand what it is they need and they fully understand what it is you're going to be providing. You need to have amazing networking skills, both online and offline. A lot of people think that a freelance web developer spends all their time online, and that's probably true. But if you're brand new or if you want to survive in this game, you have to master the art of offline networking. There's so many different opportunities, so many different places you can go to where you can network with people. The local chambers of commerce is one of them, meetups is another, and just any opportunity you have to interact with other people within business who might need your services. Now, some people think that being a freelancer means that you can work whenever you want. And some people take it to the extreme and want to have the 4-hour work week. But there's a problem with that. We live in a very fast-paced world. Out of sight, out of mind. You need to always be on your game. And like Elon Musk, you have to be willing to work 80+ hours a week. Now that's probably going to turn off a bunch of you. But if you put in the time early on up front, it'll pay rewards later on. Now one of the biggest things you really need to focus on is learning how to make sales. And it can be tough. If you're meeting a person face to face, it might be easier for you. If you're an extrovert, it might be harder if you're an introvert. And the flip side, if you're online, it might be easier for you if you're an introvert, or it might be harder for you if you have to actually be there in person in order to make the sale. And the number one thing that you really need to focus on if you want to survive in this game is you have to master the art of lead generation. When you're a freelancer doing contract work, you need to have a healthy pipeline of clients. Otherwise, you're going to have very long stretches of time where you just don't have work. Alright, so how do you get started as a freelance web developer? Well, one of the things you need to focus on is figuring out your niche. What do you want to specialize in when it comes to web design and development? Do you want to focus on real estate websites? Do you want to focus on the blogging market? Identify what that specialty is going to be, and then make sure you do everything you can to brand yourself as the person for that specific field. This goes hand in hand with building out your business plan, because if you fail to plan, then you're definitely planning to fail. So make sure you have a good business plan in place that's going to dictate exactly what you're going to be doing, what your expectations are, your timelines. And part of that business plan could also be what type of contracts you need to have in place. How are you going to document your income and your expenses? And what do you believe is going to be the determining factor if you're succeeding or not? Now, one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they get started, they're fully motivated, they feel they're going to be a success overnight. Well, that often does not happen. The reality is, it takes time. It's like a farmer planting a seed. You don't plant a seed today and think that by tomorrow you're going to have a whole entire crop. You plant a seed knowing that it's going to take months for that seed to grow into something that you could harvest. Now, another thing you have to focus on is making sure you fill out your brand. You have to fully fill out your website. You have to make sure that on your website, you have all the key points that you want people to focus on. And then you also want to make sure that you get all the handles from social media that connect to your website and to your brand. Like, for instance, Pixumweb. You see it right there. That's the name of my brand. Pixumweb.com is my website, and virtually every single social media handle is branded with Pixumweb. So once you have that set up, once you have your website, your social media accounts, you have your business plan, now it's time to announce to the world what it is that you do. Don't be the secret web developer, because nobody's going to hire you if they don't know about you. Alright, so now you have everything together, but how do you find work? Well, one thing that people consider very early on is maybe they should join the job sites that they see online. You know, all those job sites that people go to get an inexpensive gig. Now, that might be a great option for you. But one thing you have to remember is that on those job sites, the competition is great. There's a lot of people who have already been there for years and have already developed their reviews, their marketing, and they dominate on those job sites. And then there's also the race to the bottom. Everybody's trying to provide more services for less money. And while that may sound great, but you have to remember, as a freelancer, are you going to be able to deliver on what you promise? Can you provide all the services you're marketing for $5 to $100? And is that going to sustain your lifestyle? So maybe the job sites are for you, maybe they're not. It really depends. You got to feel it out. Now, obviously, another place that you should definitely be is on social media. Make sure you're developing a following, make sure people know that you exist, connect with people online, let them know what you do. Social media could be one of the best ways for you to get business. And of course, we got to focus on blogging as well, because blogging is going to be one of our ways to show that we know what we're talking about. If you can blog on your website often, like say one, maybe twice a week, if possible, and create blog posts that are specific towards your niche, eventually you're going to get found in search engines. And that's going to be part of your overall SEO strategy. Search engine optimization is one of the best ways to generate traffic in the long term for your website. And then beyond that, you may also want to consider guest blogging. This is where you go to other websites that are in similar fields, but not your direct competition. You create blog posts, you reach out to their audience, you're providing value to that website owner and to their viewership, but you're also creating yourself as someone that people can learn from, and you might be able to drive traffic back to your website. So search engine optimization via blogging in your website is going to be something you really need to focus on. And then, as I mentioned before, networking offline is going to be something that keeps you in business in the long run. Because again, there's a ton of people all over the world doing web design and development. But if you can market yourself locally within your city, your town, your village, or whatever, letting people know what it is that you do, word of mouth could be one of the best lead generators for you. And now if you have some money, then maybe you may also want to advertise online and offline. Alright, so now let's go on to my top 10 tips. You have to always learn from your last project. What went well, what didn't go so well, and what can you improve on. You also have to stay on top of the web development trends, because again, that's changing on a daily basis. What are people's expectations? What tools are coming out to really streamline your workflow? Because time management is something you really have to be good at. You have to be able to have clear and open communication with your clients. Now, I don't mean to be on the phone with them for hours every single day. That could be a waste of your time and their time. But make sure that you're reachable and you're communicating effectively. And now, one of the most important things to focus on is also your pricing strategy. How are you going to price out your services? Now, there's a bunch of different factors that go into this, and I'm going to do a whole separate video just on pricing strategy for freelancers in web development. But the basics are, you have to take in your basic needs. What is the cost of your mortgage or your rent, your car payment? What is your Con Ed cost? What is your cable cost? What is your cell phone cost? What does it cost to keep yourself fed and buy clothes? And then what are your wants? What do you want to have in the immediate, near, and long-term future? And of course, you also have to take into consideration your competition locally and online. Now, you don't want to have a race to the bottom, but you don't want to price yourself so high that you never get any clients. So again, I'll create a separate video just for pricing strategy. Now, when you do land your clients, one of the most important things you could do is set aside some money. Anything from 10 to 20% should be set aside for a rainy day. And you may want to consider investing in some stocks and bonds, maybe some real estate if you do get to that level. Mastering time management is going to be something you really have to focus on. As a freelancer who does not have a boss, you have to hold yourself accountable, because if not, you will suffer in this business. And then you also have to master your tools. Whether it's your computer, your laptop, your smartphone, your tablet, the technologies and software you're using in order to do your work, master them. Fully understand how they work and how it can benefit you. Streamline your process. Another thing you really have to focus on is how to become super organized. Learning good organization skills is going to be vital to your business. You have to organize your documents, you have to organize your schedule, and you have to make sure you follow a very specific workflow. Now, I don't mean you have to be super rigid to the point that you break whenever you don't follow your workflow. You have to always be adaptive as well, but make sure that you're organized enough that you're not wasting time looking for things when they should be in the obvious place. And being organized leads into my next tip, which is you're the lead generator, you're the marketer, you're the sales manager, you're the project manager, and your customer service. So you have to remember to be good at all aspects, meaning the lead generation, the sales, and keeping your customers happy. That also means that you have to develop a thick skin, because you're going to get rejected a lot. You're going to put out proposals out there, you're going to talk to people, you're going to give them a price, they're going to come back at you. And it's only natural for people to try to lower the price, but you have to learn how to value your time and your skill set. And you have to understand that there's going to be more no's than yeses. You're always going to have more people saying no than yes. That's the reality of life. So develop a thick skin, have the confidence to keep moving forward no matter how many times you hear the word no. Alright, so that's it. That's freelancing as a web developer. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification icon, comment down below, and if you know of anybody who might benefit from hearing this video, send it to them. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.
Hey, check it. Hey, check it. Put the place up.